Okay. Good morning, everyone. Please confirm that I am audible.
Morning, sir.
Morning,
Okay.
sir.
Good morning. Have you gone through the last lecture? I have shared in the group that you have gone through. Okay. That
No,
was
sir.
for. Okay. Please go through that. That was from I think 120 onwards. That was
119
120
onwards.
onwards. 119 onwards. Okay, so today we have left those aphorisms from 110 to 118 for our agenda today. Okay, uh, we have read 110 and we have told that this is an important aphorism as regard to your BHMS examination, because they will ask again these questions about rudiments of Materia Medica and what are these. Okay, so we will start today from 111. First, tell me what is the I have very in the very beginning we have discussed that our class will be clinical oriented, means by going through these philosophy we will try to correlate these things in the clinic. So what is the need of drug proving for the clinic? It is important for your examination purpose. It is an important aspect of homeopathy, but all have been most of the proving of the drug we are using have been done. But what is the important of this drug proving, studying this drug proving for our clinic? Anyone? If you know the
Sir,
drug proving, yes. What you're telling,
uh,
Oman?
we come to know the clinical symptoms also from drug proving in clinics.
Very good. Very good. That is the one aspect of clinical application of this drug proving, because you can do a clinical proving. Okay. There is section on in drug proving about clinical proving, which should be Hahnemann later on informed us that should be 142. That should be left to the masters. So that clinical proving we can do in our day-to-day practice. We can note and observe. If you go through the synthesis repertory and radar, the online version of that synthesis repertory, not essential synthesis, that synthesis large one, so you will get lots of layman and lots of doctors around the world have contributed to these symptoms. Okay, so one aspect of knowing these drug proving is about clinical proving. Other, that you can prove by your own self. Suppose you are practicing in such an area where the tribal people are using such and such drug for such and such disease. So why not try this uh, drug, which the folk medicine? Why not try their drug in our proving? You know how that Hales Materia Medica came into existence? Hales, not Richard Hales. I think it is E.A. Hales Materia Medica. How it came into being, that he was practicing in an area which were full of red Indians, a tribal part of America. So he got so many drugs from there. So many drugs we are using nowadays are proved by Richard Hale as by Hale as new remedies. Introduction. Have you heard about Sarath Chandra Ghosh Indian drugs? Indian drugs, how this Justicia, Cyzicium, Cephlandra, and lots of other drugs, Ficus religiosa, Ashoka, how these drugs came to our Materia Medica. These are very useful drugs which we are using in our day-to-day practice. Okay, this Ficus, Justicia, All these are Indian drugs. And knowing how to prove things, Sharat Chandra proved these drugs and included in our Mathematica. Is it not? So it is important. Whenever you have to keep your eyes open. One of the homeopath from Calcutta, when he went to Spain, he found that there people are using bitter orange, a sort of type of orange fruit, but it was bitter, but people were using it as their medicine. Tribal people were using this as their medicine, and he came to prove these that drug, bitter orange, and it was found that it is very good for fungal infections and very good for certain kinds of malignancy. Okay, so keep your eyes open and know there is a thing called drug proving. Okay, I'm not talking about reproving of the substances which Hahnemann have already proved. Okay, time to time in the history, you will see that people used to prove brina, aconite, and these things, and again they will find that this is same. Not a single symptom of Hahnemann has been missed. Starting from Richard Hughes, who started to prove all the drugs below 12C, because he was thinking that he was of opinion that if there is not a single molecule of drug is present, you cannot tell that this is an authentic symptom of that drug. Okay, so right from the Richard Hughes, people and our research centers are proving these drugs again and again, but the same symptoms of Hahnemann, they might include new symptoms which will again be doubtful, but there will be same symptoms which Hahnemann have given by his meticulous provings. Which drugs actually need reproving? In the last lecture, I have discussed that which drugs actually needs reproving. Any idea? Any idea? Okay, actually, you will see that some of the sources of our drug, like Hecla lava, how it came to our Mathematica, because the person who proved it have gone to a place where he found that these grasses, means the grasses growing on the lava and the horses are feeding on them, are cured of certain kind of disease. So he went on to prove the lava, so that Hecla lava came to our Mathematica. Now that particular source of Hecla lava have been extinct. Still in the market, you will find Hecla lava 6x, 4x, 3x, like that. How these are coming? These are not that lava which have been proved and included in our Mathematica. So the thing is that this lava need to be reproved. Cantheris, the Spanish flies, the particular species which have been proved and included in our Mathematica, have been extinct now. So from where Cantheris is coming? You will find Cantheris mother tincture also. From where these are coming? So these drugs are coming from nearest species of Spanish fly. That particular species of that Spanish fly must have 3-4 species. So particular species from which this Cantheris have been extinct, has been prepared, has been extinct. Now it is being prepared from other species, sibling species, but this needs a reproving. Okay, so the sources of which are extinct are not available, and we are utilizing from some other sources, need to, those drugs need to be reproved. But those drugs which sources of which are ample, available in ample quantity throughout the world, need no reproving actually. Okay, so that proving of Brinia, proving of aconite, proving of arnica will not give any different result from what Hahnemann have observed. Okay, why it is so? Now we have converged our talk to this point, that whatever Hahnemann have proved 200 years ago, now again if you are proving the same thing, leave Hahnemann, Sharat Chandra 100 years ago in the drugs of Hindustan, what he have proved and collected the symptoms, now again if you are reproving it, you will get the same symptoms, not different from. Agree? How many of you
Yes,
agree
sir.
with this? Okay, why?
Sir, they prescribe medicine such as bryonia to a patient um, by investigating. After investigating the case, then it cured. It means that same symptoms medicine has.
ओके वो नहीं बोल रहे हैं, हम बोल रहे हैं कि हैनीमैन ने जो प्रूफ किया था, ओके, ये मैथमेटिका प्यूरा है, इसमें कोई एक ड्रग आप खोलिए, तो आप अभी जैसे हमने नक्स वोमिका खोला, ठीक है, नक्स वोमिका में 1300 सिम्टम्स, ठीक है, हैनीमैन ने ये 1300 सिम्टम्स दिया है। हैनीमैन अब अगर आप प्रूफ करेंगे इसको, तो आपको इन 1300 सिम्टम्स के अलावा और कुछ नहीं मिलेगा। You won't get anything except from these 1300 symptoms, because it is an extensive proving of nux vomica. Why it is so? आपको कुछ नया नहीं मिल रहा है, you are not getting anything new. Same symptoms when you collected from the provers, you found that it is falling under this set. Why it is so? क्वेश्चन समझ में आया?
यस सर, कुछ तो अलग
अभी
होता
आपके
होगा ना,
पास
मतलब टोटल मिल जाना। फिर सर क्लिनिकल सिम्टम कहाँ जाएगा? मतलब क्लिनिकल सिम्टम भी तो आते हैं ना।
प्रूविंग में छोड़ दो, अभी क्लिनिकल सिम्टम्स की बात नहीं है, प्रूविंग में when you are proving, you are not getting anything new. What Hahnemann have told. Now let's back to our discussion of that. What Hahnemann have told. 110 पढ़िए, read that.
I saw moreover that the morbid lesion which previous authors had observed to result from medicinal substance when taken into the
Wait,
stomach.
wait. Now अब यहाँ पे keep yourself here. I saw moreover that morbid lesions which Hahnemann have observed to the result of his proving, I am getting same thing. Come to here.
Yes, sir.
My own 3-4 lines below. It accorded very much with my own observation when experimenting with the same substance on myself and other healthy individuals. Now read it again. I saw moreover that morbid lesions which Hahnemann have observed during his drug proving accorded very much with my own observation when experimenting with the same substance on myself and other healthy provers. Okay,
Yes, sir.
this is accordance of your observation with the Hahnemann's observation. Why it is so? It is so because 111.
The agreement of my observation on the pure effect of medicine with these older ones, although they were recorded without reference to any therapeutic object, and the very concordance of these accounts with others of same kind by different authors must easily convince us that medicinal substance act in the morbid changes they produce in the healthy human body according to fixed external law of nature and by
Eternal law.
virtue of
Eternal law. Underline that. Medicines are producing symptoms according to fixed eternal law. Okay? Underline that. Agreement of my observation with that of Hahnemann's observation. What Hahnemann is telling, and agreement of Hahnemann's observation, what other physicians have observed previously although they were not recorded with the therapeutic hint in mind. They were recorded because they are going to record the history of poisonings. Okay, history of poisoning. Why they have recorded this history of poisoning? To warn others, to give the detail of their cases. Okay, so these things we have discussed in previous aphorisms. Now, why this is producing the same symptoms even after 200 years? Because these are fixed eternal law. Okay, अकॉर्डिंग टू ब्राइनिया 200 साल पहले किया था, ब्राइनिया 200 साल बाद ले रहे हैं, symptoms will be same because this is fixed eternal law. Okay, underline
Yes,
that.
sir.
Underline that. Next.
Uh, 112 what is it, sir?
नहीं, उसी बच्चे में पढ़िए भी. And by virtue of these,
And by virtue of these are enabled to produce certain reliable disease symptoms, each according to its own character.
underline this. Certain reliable disease symptoms, okay, each according to its own peculiar character. Okay, Pulsatilla is having two species. Both the species will be producing different different kind of symptoms. Okay, Rustrox having several species. Rustoxicodendron. Okay, uh, uh, other species of Rustrox means there are two three species of Rustrox, and they will produce different kind of symptom. Okay, so this
Yes,
is
sir.
according to each, as there are individuals in human, I mean say human beings are individual, as there are individualization in human being, there is individualization in medicines. Okay,
Yes, sir.
next. 112.
In those older prescriptions of the often dangerous effects of medicines ingested in excessively large dose, we notice certain states that were produced not at the commencement but towards the termination of these sad events, and which were of an exactly opposite nature to those that first appeared.
Okay, full
These
stop and
symptoms.
stop here. There is a full stop. That means the sentence is complete. Now, can you explain me this? Anyone can explain me this? What he is trying to say?
Sir, poisoning, I think. Poisoning and
Poisoning. Okay.
toxicological was proving. Yes, sir. Dangerous
But
effect of medicine ingested excessively in
at
large
the
dose.
termination, we notice certain states that were produced not at the commencement, but towards the termination of these side effects. So, point to be marked here is excessively large dose. Excessively large dose. Underline that. We noticed state that were produced not at the commencement but towards the termination. Towards the termination. Underline that. Towards the termination, which are exactly opposite nature, which are exactly opposite nature to that first appeared. Okay, underline this. Exactly opposite nature to that first appear. In these cases of poisoning, what we have told, you have told that he is talking about poisoning. Okay, poisoning, but what kind of symptoms he is trying to say, which is exactly opposite. शुरू में कुछ और मिला, at the near point when the patient is dying, you will get some other symptoms, which is exactly opposite. Okay, this was because excessively large dose, that secondary action. Okay, when we were discussing the primary and secondary action, we have discussed this aphorism there also. So that secondary action, if it is in large dose, the secondary action, counteraction, not curative action. Okay, secondary counteraction came into existence. That is, which is exactly opposite to that what we have observed initially in the beginning. Okay, next sentence. So secondary action of the medicinal substance. Next.
These, these symptoms, the ARI reverts to the primary action, aphorism 63, or proper action of the medicine on the vital force
Primary action
are
or proper action. Primary action is the proper action of the medicine. Okay.
medicine on the vital force are the reaction of vital force of the
Comma,
organism. It's
comma. That means this are the reaction. This are the reaction is talking about the opposite symptoms we are getting. Okay. Comma, comma है तो this is not the primary action के बारे में यहाँ बात नहीं हो रही है. Talking about that opposite symptoms we are getting is actually are the reaction, underline those, are the reaction of the vital force of the organism, are the reaction of the vital force of the organism, its secondary action, underline this. Okay, next.
of which, however, there is seldom or hardly ever the least trace from experiment with moderate dose on healthy bodies, and from small dose none whatever
Okay,
in the
this secondary action you will not observe in this secondary action you will not observe in which case, that is why I have asked you to underline excessively large dose. Okay, if you are giving excessively large dose, you're bound to get some vital reactions, vital reactions of the vital force, which is secondary action. But we are using moderate dose. Moderate dose तो एकदम नहीं होगा, थोड़ा सा होगा, या होगा भी तो बहुत unobservable होगा. But if it is small dose, it won't produce any secondary action. Okay, now next.
in the homeopathic curative operation, the living organism reacts from these only so much as is requisite to raise the health again to the normal healthy state.
Okay, so that is the third sentence. Whole aphorism is consists of only 3 sentences, which if you read by breaking up, it will be easier. So this is again a you can use in the answers to primary action in the homeopathic curative operation. What is happening? That is a secondary curative action. There is no exact opposite reactions are coming. That is curative because of the moderate dose or because of the smaller dose. Now 113 and 114 is regarding narcotics. Okay, 117 is idiosyncrasy, 115 is alternating action. Okay, alternating paroxysm of primary action. So remember the odd aphorisms, those who are preparing for their MD entrance examination, they have to remember some aphorisms. So remember the odd and you will easily remember. They are asking lots of questions regarding numbers of aphorisms. So 113, remember the odd and you will remember the important aphorisms here. So 113, read 113. This is
The
from
only
for narcotics. This is for narcotics. We are recording the primary actions in the proving. Okay, when we were discussing the primary action and secondary action, we have told that there are lots of confusion have created between primary action and secondary action, what we are using and why we are not using secondary action. In cases of narcotic, what we are doing and what are the proving records showing. So for that, I will refer you to opium and coffee chapter of J.H. Clark and M.L. Tyler. Okay, we have discussed it there previously also. Now read narcotics, 113.
The only exception to this are the narcotics medicine, now as they, in their primary action, take away sometimes the sensibility and the sensation, sometimes the irritability. It frequently happens that in their secondary action, even from moderate experimental dose on healthy bodies, an increased sensibility and to a greater irritability is observable.
Okay. What narcotic actually will do? What narcotics is actually doing? Narcotics क्यों लेते हैं लोग? Why what narcotics is doing?
Mm, to
It is
take our
benumbing.
yes,
हाँ,
sir.
take away. Benumbing. Okay. Unconscious. It will
Mm,
send people into unconscious mode. Take away sometimes the
mm,
sensibility and sensation, sometimes the irritability. So लेते ही ये effect हुआ. That is the primary action. If this is the only effect, what to record? You won't be able to record anything. Okay.
yes,
So
sir.
in these cases, the secondary action. First, benumbing will come. Then the
Mm,
this increase this great irritability, increase state of uh, increased state of health means emotions will be observed. Okay, that is secondary action. All the narcotics in their primary action will try to benumbs and reduce the sensations, but in their secondary action they will again produce excessive accelerated state. Okay, so if you are uh, in Allen's, there is a lots of confusion regarding this primary action, secondary action. In Allen's keynote, you will see the opium has symptoms of painlessness. Is it not?
yes, sir.
Opium, opium will be having symptoms of painlessness. Is it primary action or secondary action?
Mm, the primary action,
Primary action.
Primary action. But we are giving our medicines on the basis of
secondary
for
action.
narcotics. For narcotics, we are so recording. For narcotics, we are recording what?
Secondary action.
Secondary action.
Secondary action. Then why this primary action is given there? There we are utilizing primary action. So this is lots of confusion, nothing of clinical importance. Okay, nothing of clinical importance. Whatever symptoms you are getting, prescribe on it. Kent's, I have referred you to Kent's philosophy, where Kent is saying whatever symptoms you are getting, if this is a symptom of drug, you will. I'm not having my Kent here. I think if it is a symptoms of drug, it will go. Okay, so there is no need for confusion of primary action and secondary action. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Just you need to know for your academic purpose. Okay, now I will refer you to Mathematica Pura, the last para, the last para of introduction to opium. Okay, now let me show you. Opium belongs to those medicines whose primary effect seldom admit of a homeopathic application in human disease. But when it is so used, a small portion of a drop of the decillionth fold potency suffice for a dose. Okay, we are not using the primary effect of opium. Okay, primary effect of opium we are not using. We are usually using secondary actions of opium, because the moment we are giving, the secondary actions comes into play, and this is the secondary action which is going to tackle the symptoms. Okay, समझ में आ रहा है? But when it is being used, but when it is so used for the purpose of primary action, it should be given so high in the potency. Matlab, quantity should be so small when you are intending to use the primary action of a drug, of a narcotic drug. When you are intending to use the primary action of that drug, that opium ka primary action is benumb state, and when you are using for this benumb state, what you will do, you will give your medicine in lesser quantity and higher energy, small and small and small. Okay, so read coffea and opium from J.H. Clark and M.L. Tyler. Coffea and opium from J.H. Clark and Emil Tyler, and those who are in their post-graduation can read for their academic purpose Duggan's Theory and Practice of Homeopathy, Primary Action and Secondary Action. This is quite a long chapter, 64 or 75 pages are there. So those who are doing their post-graduation may refer to Duggan's Primary Action and Secondary Action in his lectures of homeopathy. Okay, and those who are in their graduation, they can read coffea from J.H. Allen and M.L. Tyler, as well as opium. Okay, what coffea will produce? Coffea, primary action of coffee. What is the primary action of coffee?
Sleeplessness.
Primary action of coffee, and still we are giving it for the sleeplessness. One of the medicine for insomnia is coffea. So we are utilizing there its primary action, is it not? We are utilizing the primary action of the coffea. So there is no need to confuse between primary action. I'm not getting my Kent's philosophy here. Otherwise, I would have shown you that Kent is saying there is no need to confuse yourself between primary action and secondary action. Okay. Now go to 114.
With the exception of these narcotic substances, in experiment with moderate dose of medicine on healthy bodies, we observe only their primary action, that is, those symptoms wherewith the medicine rearrange the health of the human being and develop in him a morbid state of longer or shorter duration.
The whole aphorism consists of only one single sentence. So with these exceptions to narcotic substance, underline these. In experiment with moderate dose underline. We observe only primary action, underline. We observe, and you can write, we note, we observe and note down. Okay, these primary actions. Exceptions is narcotics, because we are not able to observe there. So we are taking their primary and secondary actions. Now 115. 115 is regarding alternating actions.
Among these symptoms, there occur in the case of some medicines not a few which are partially or under certain conditions directly opposite to other symptoms that have
Underline this.
previous.
Underline this. This aphorism again a single sentence. See, so you need to break it down. Underline which are partially or under certain condition directly opposite to other symptoms. Underline up to this. Problem with the Organon of Medicine's language is that it is written, it has been translated first. It has been translated in Old English. It has been translated to complex sentence. Or Hahnemann have written it in that way. So there is no fault of translators. So symptoms which are partially or under certain condition directly opposite to other symptoms. Underline this. Okay, next. Read next.
That have previously or subsequently appeared, but with which are not therefore to be regarded as a actual secondary action or mere reaction of a vital force, but only represent the alternating state of the various paroxysms of primary action. They are
Underline
termed
this.
alternating action.
Underline this. Alternating paroxysm of alternating state of various paroxysm of primary action. Underline this. What does this mean?
Alternating states.
Now, it is written there, have previously or subsequently appeared. Previously, it has been observed. Now, again, it is being observed. That means, and it is not alternating state. Okay, alternating state is lumbago alternating with headache. Is this alternating action? Is this alternating action?
No, sir.
To be
No,
termed
sir.
it as alternating action, you need to have a relation between them, partially or completely opposite to each other. Okay, so headache alternating with lumbago, symptoms of allo, diarrhea alternating with constipation, diarrhea alternating with constipation, symptoms of many medicines including aloe and sulfur. Okay, diarrhea alternating with constipation. This is alternating action.
Action.
Okay, now I am giving you one state. First there was diarrhea, then constipation, and diarrhea never returns. What is this?
This is secondary action.
This is secondary action. Very good. Now diarrhea, constipation, then constipation, then diarrhea, then constipation. What is this?
Alternating action.
This is alternating action. That is secondary action. This is primary action. But alternating paroxysm of primary action.
Primary
Clear?
action.
What is the clinical use of knowing this? What is the clinical use of knowing this? Previously, I used to prescribe my ignitia in सिंगल डोज. ओके, इग्निशिया 1 ml दे दिया, हो गया. बहुत सारा होता था, many patients was giving good results, many patients were not giving a result, means at all. So what was happening to me, that ignitia I didn't know, means I was not bothering about this alternating action of ignitia. Okay, now go to 251, aphorism number 251.
There are some medicine, example, Ignacia, also Bryonia, and Rus and sometimes Belladonna, with whose power of alternating man's health consists chiefly in alternating actions, a kind of primary action,
Underline
symptoms
this,
that are
a kind of primary action that are in opposed to each other. A kind of, what is alternating action? Again, a definition for that, a kind of primary action that are in part opposed to each other. Next, ends the first sentence here. Next.
should the practitioner find on prescribing one of these selected on strict homeopathic principle that no improvement follows. He will,
Underline this.
in most
No improvement follows. Underline this.
he will in most cases soon affect his object by giving in acute disease even within a few hours of fresh and equally small dose of the same medicine.
Okay. What if no effect follows? If no effect follows, what does this mean? Many things it means that medicines are not genuine, selection was not right, and many other things. Patient didn't take the medicine, I have forgotten to put the medicine in the globules. Many more things can be said. But if all the criteria have been maintained, still there is no improvement. What to do in cases of medicines which are having alternating actions? Okay, you should give a fresh dose, equally small dose of the same kind, same medicine. Okay, no improvement follows. So from that point onward, I never give ignitia in single dose. I used to give it in fraction of even number, 2, 4, 6, like that. Okay, when we are passing out, no, from our colleges, there is so much burden of philosophy on us that we forgot that there are some things which are even in the limit of philosophy you can utilize. Single dose dena hai. Okay, and the pass out graduate will try to give single dose, but how long? If he is not knowing his philosophy, well versed in his homeopathic philosophy and its application, he will get frustrated with these. Okay, I have seen sulfur 30 one dose working for months together, sepia 201 dose working for months together, but ignitia one dose sometimes giving result, sometimes not giving results during initial period of time, and I was not bothering this alternating action of that. There are so many drugs, not only ignitia, brainia, rastrux, belladonna, but there are many more drugs which are having these kind of alternating action. But like I have told you, sulfur alternating in a single symptom. Okay, uh, alternating diarrhea and constipation is alternating, so that is not sulfur. We will term sulfur as a drug having predominantly alternating action, but those drugs which are have many symptoms of alternating state, in those drugs you need to repeat if there is no improvement. So better patient is not going to come you after 1 week or after 2 week. Usually patient homeopath, they are coming for their chronic disease, and they will come, usually they expect you to give medicine at least for 4 weeks, 1 month. Okay, so it's better to give ignitia in those medicines which are having predominantly alternating action in double doses. Okay, now
Sir,
dose okay, what you're telling?
सर अगर फर्स्ट डोज में ही अगर उसको एग्रेवेशन हो गया उस मेडिसिन का तो सर मतलब इम्प्रूवमेंट हो रहा है तो फिर उसको रिपीट करेंगे?
इम्प्रूवमेंट हो रहा है, एग्रेवेशन हो रहा है, क्या हो रहा है?
मतलब फर्स्ट डोज में ही मतलब इम्प्रूव हुआ, साथ साथ सर उसमें अगर एग्रेवेशन भी हो गया था, मतलब होम्योपैथिक एग्रेवेशन भी हो गया था।
होम्योपैथिक एग्रेवेशन से रिपीट नहीं करेंगे, रिपीट नहीं करेंगे. दैट इज एन आइडियल कंडीशन यू seldom get.
ओके सर.
With these alternating actions, medicines with alternating actions. Okay, usually what we do, we are not giving double doses in solid. Okay, there is a philosophy behind solid dose and liquid dose. We will discuss these in when we are coming to posology. Okay, there if you are giving a fractional medicine in fractional dose, okay, 60 ml या 30 ml का एक बॉटल दे दिया, उसमें 2 मार्क कर दिया, this is a single dose given in fraction, so you are taking it as 2 dose. But according to Hahnemannian conception, it is also one single dose, but given in fraction. Okay, there is a concept of giving liquid dose and solid dose. Okay, people are giving solid doses also too, but I prefer to give this kind of if I am going to give medicine, repeating my medicine, I will give this kind of bottle, even if 30 brainia 30, this bottle I think consists of brainia or belladonna 30. Okay, 1 drop of belladonna 30 in it, and this consists of 16 doses. I will ask patient to take from this bottle after single stroke. So this is concept of liquid dose. There is Kent's concept of a solid dose. Kent is following 4th edition. Okay, and this is regarding 5th edition and in between. And in 6th edition, the concept of doses changed altogether. So it is very interesting. Posology, Hahnemannian posology is very interesting, and what we are following in our clinical practice and what is easier way to follow, we will discuss when we will come to that point. While we will discuss homeopathic posology. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Next. Although alternating state and alternating actions are two different things. Okay.
Yes.
Next.
Some symptoms are produced by the medicine more frequently, that is to say, in many individuals, other more rarely, or in a few persons, some only in very few healthy bodies.
Okay, these very few healthy bodies. This is a preamble for next. We have told that Hahnemann, while discussing something, he will give some hint in aphorism prior to it, or he will take some hint from aphorism below. Okay, sometime. So very few healthy bodies. This is now come to 117, and you will get to the later category. To the later category. Okay, this to the later category is very few healthy bodies. Okay, this very few healthy bodies. To the later category belong the so-called idiosyncrasies. We'll discuss it in next class. To the later category belong the so-called idiosyncrasies. These very few healthy bodies. Okay, we'll discuss it in next class. I think my charge, mobile charge is only 2% remaining, so I don't know how far I will be able to continue. But if you can ask, if you are having some question, can ask. Anyone having any question?
Excuse me, sir.
हाँ बोलो.
So
Yes,
this is
Niharika.
Niharika.
Okay.
Sir, I want to ask. I have heard about fractional doses all these times, but I just want to ask whether from where I can read more about this.
Okay, this is Richard Hughes's. You need to read not only fractional dose, you need to read the posology as a whole for the better understanding. Okay. Start from the organon, appendix to Duggan's appendix. Okay, appendix to 240. Okay,
Appendix 240,
no, to appendix to this 246.
246. Okay.
Okay, this is one reference. Read that, very interesting.
Okay,
Next,
sir.
Richard Hughes's pharmacodynamics appendix.
Pharmacodynamics appendix.
Appendix. In
Okay.
appendix, there is a lecture on Hahnemannian posology. Okay, how it evolves. We will discuss in detail when we will come to that point. So as of now, this Duggan's appendix and Richard Hughes's appendix. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Anyone?
हेलो सर,
Yes. Yes, Sunil. Go.
जो इग्निशिया है जिसका ऑल्टरनेटिंग एक्शन है, तो क्या हम ऑलवेज इसको मतलब, क्योंकि अगर फर्स्ट डोजेज में ऑलवेज ही हमें इसको 2 डोजेज में प्रिस्क्राइब करना है, क्योंकि जैसा इसका एक्शन है ऑल्टरनेटिंग एक्शन, ये हमारे फर्स्ट डोज से ही इम्प्रूव हो सकता है पेशेंट, कि हमें वेट एंड वॉच करना पड़ेगा, या हमें पहले ही प्रिस्क्रिप्शन में हम 2 डोजेस उसको प्रिस्क्राइब करें?
देखो, क्लिनिक में हम यही करते हैं कि हम फ्रैक्शनल डोज बना के 2 डोज दे देते हैं. 2 बार दे दिया. पहले हम क्या करते थे, व्हाट आई एम डूइंग इन माय क्लिनिक, आई एम टेलिंग यू दैट इग्निशिया देना है ना, तो इग्निशिया मेरा एक तरह का ऐसा मेडिसिन हो गया है कि हम इसको हाई पोटेंसी में प्रिस्क्राइब करते हैं, 1 ml और 10 ml. तो पहले हम क्या करते थे, 10 ml अगर देना है किसी को, इग्निशिया इज मींस आई हैव what to say, I have handled many cases of dreaded pathology with ignitia. Okay, so much ignitia is coming to my clinic, was coming during my internship, was coming to my PG, and is coming to my clinic. So I was prescribing. That is why I discussed it, because I have very much so many experience with ignitia. So what I used to do previously, if ignitia in सेंटिसिमल पोटेंसी देना है तो हम क्या करते थे, 10 ml देना है तो यहाँ पे डाला हाथ पे और ऑल्फेक्शन करा दिया, 1 ऑल्फेक्शन ऑफ इग्निशिया टेनेम, उसी से काम हो जाता है। मगर कभी कभी होता है, कभी कभी नहीं होता है। समझ में आ रही है बात?
Yes, yes, sir.
Sometimes I was getting result, sometimes I was not. Okay, so for the institution में तो ठीक है, वहां पे पेशेंट आ ही रहा है आपके पास, बट फॉर द प्रैक्टिस, क्लिनिकल प्रैक्टिस, यहाँ पे तो आपको साथ में पेशेंट को बुलाना भी है वापस ना। पेशेंट अगर नहीं आएगा तो आपका कुछ आप समझ नहीं पाएंगे। इसीलिए फॉर बीइंग ऑन द सेफ साइड, अभी हम क्या करते हैं, अगर इग्निशिया देना है, सेंटीसिमल में देना है, तो हम उसका एक 10 ml का फाइल में इग्निशिया 1m या 10m दे दिया, आधा आज ले लिया, आधा कल ले लिया, ठीक है, ये करते हैं। तो टू बी ऑन द सेफ साइड ओनली, okay, you can still wait and watch, but this is not practical for our day-to-day clinic. Okay, those who are running their household only on the basis of clinic, those homeopaths should not interpret the philosophy. Philosophy जहां जहां आपको मौका दे रही है करने का, आप वो चीज कर सकते हैं। ओके, यहाँ पे आपको सिंगल डोज देना ही है एंड व्हाट एंड वॉच करना ही है। दिस इज कंसेप्ट ऑफ 4th edition, okay, not of the 5th edition, and there is a transition period from 5th edition to the publication of 6th edition. In between there is a transition period of these doses. In chronic diseases, Hahnemann has a different concept of doses, so you can experiment with doses. Not wait and watch is actually the strict Kantian philosophy. Wait and watch, which is 4th edition of Organon of Medicine. Okay, single dose diya, wait and watch, this is strict Kantian philosophy. But Hahnemannian philosophy is giving you a way to apply and learn the application of doses. Okay, तो हम क्या बोले, इग्निशिया हमने दिया, किसी में काम कर रहा है, किसी में नहीं कर रहा है, बट जब से हमने फ्रैक्शनल देना शुरू किया, अगर वो पेशेंट इग्निशिया था तो इग्निशिया काम कर ही रहा है, करेगा ही करेगा। Okay, why? Because if there was any hindrance with the alternating dose, it will go off, and still your patient will not be disturbed by this fractional application.
Yes.
Clear? This is solely not for academic. Don't go on argue with your examiners that I will do that and this, because this class is totally with the clinical orientation. So I am discussing these things. Academic को academic में रहने दिया जाए, ठीक है? Clinical जो practicality है clinical का, वो we will try to discuss. So I told you this, that Ignitia, from there onward I started to give Ignitia in 2 doses. You can prefer to give Ignitia in LM potency,